Hey man, when you finally distance yourself from her, not out of anger, not out of ego, but out of exhaustion, everything changes. The energy shifts, the game flips, the silence becomes louder than any words you've ever spoken, and that's when she finally starts to feel what you've been feeling all along. Because distance does what words can't. It reveals truth. It separates illusion from reality, fantasy from loyalty, attraction from attachment. And suddenly, the woman who once thought she had you figured out realizes she never truly did. At first, she won't believe it. She'll think it's temporary, another emotional phase, another attempt to get her attention. She's seen men pull away before, but you feel different this time. There's no bitterness in your silence, no reaction in your tone. You're not pulling away to teach her a lesson. You're doing it to protect your peace. And that calm detachment scares her more than anger ever could. Because anger means there's still fire. Silence means it's over. When you finally distance yourself, she starts feeling the absence in ways she can't describe. Your messages stop appearing. Your name stops lighting up her phone. Your energy stops orbiting around her. It's like the sun suddenly stopped rising, and she doesn't know how to handle the cold. She'll act unbothered, maybe even proud at first, but every day that goes by without your presence chips away at her pride, because what she thought was control was actually comfort, and she just lost both. The moment you stop chasing, her mind becomes restless. She starts wondering where you went, what you're doing, who's getting the version of you she took for granted. The silence starts echoing in her head. Every notification that isn't you becomes a reminder of how empty the connection feels without your energy feeding it. That's when she begins to realize, attention is replaceable, but presence is not. You didn't just fill her time, you filled her emotions. She'll try to replace you at first. That's her defense mechanism. She'll post more, go out more, flirt more. But the more she tries to distract herself, the more it reminds her that what she's missing isn't attention, it's peace. Because what you gave her wasn't drama, it was stability. And that kind of energy can't be replicated with a rebound or a rush of validation. You became her emotional anchor, and once that anchor is gone, she starts drifting, even if she pretends she's sailing. When you finally distance yourself, she'll test you. She'll drop subtle hints, a like, a message, a story reaction. She's not reaching out because she wants to reconnect. She's checking if she still has access. She wants to know if you'll take the bait, because your reaction tells her everything. It tells her whether she still matters. But when your silence stays consistent, when your peace remains unbothered, she realizes something terrifying. Her influence is fading. That's when the panic sets in. See, a woman doesn't feel your absence immediately. She feels it when her ego runs out of distractions. When the attention stops pouring in, when the nights feel longer, when she scrolls through her phone and there's no new message from you, that's when it hits her. The man she thought would never pull away, finally did. And unlike the others, you're not using distance to manipulate her, you're using it to move on. That's what breaks her. Distance flips the dynamic. Suddenly, she's the one overanalyzing. She's the one checking if you've changed, if you've posted something new, if someone else has your focus. The same curiosity that once belonged to you now belongs to her. She starts romanticizing the version of you she once dismissed. The small things she used to ignore, your calm tone, your patience, your attention, now become the very things she craves. Because people only miss what they never thought they'd lose. The deeper your silence goes, the louder her thoughts get. She starts remembering details she never appreciated. The way you made her laugh, the way you stayed when she pushed, the way you understood her chaos without judgment. Every memory becomes a mirror, reflecting the truth she ran from. She'll start to see how one-sided things really were, how much you gave, and how little she matched it. That realization doesn't just create regret, it creates respect. But by then, it's too late. When you distance yourself, something magical happens. Your energy starts coming back home. All that time, all that mental energy, all that emotional effort you poured into her begins returning to you. You stop checking your phone, you stop overthinking, you stop living through her reactions. You start sleeping better, moving slower, feeling stronger. That peace you feel? That's what happens when your energy finally returns to its rightful owner, you. She'll notice your transformation even from afar. There's a new tone in your voice, a new stillness in your presence. You're no longer emotionally available to her chaos. You've outgrown the emotional language she used to control you with. You've stopped playing the game entirely, and the second she realizes she can no longer trigger you, that's when her attraction reignites. Not because she suddenly loves you, but because she can sense your power again. See, women are emotionally intuitive. They can feel when a man's energy shifts. And when yours does, when you stop chasing and start choosing, she feels it. It bothers her in ways she can't explain. Your calm energy reminds her of what she lost. Your peace makes her restless, because she's used to men being emotionally predictable, easy to manipulate. But your detachment makes you unpredictable. And unpredictability is the one thing she can't ignore. When you finally distance yourself, her perception of you changes. You go from too available to mysterious, from boring to powerful, because absence romanticizes you. It amplifies your value in her memory. She starts telling herself stories about you, how you've changed, how you've matured, how you might not want her anymore. And those stories become her obsession, because women chase what they can't control, and right now, that's you. But here's the part that most men miss. Distance doesn't just make her miss you, it helps you see clearly. You start realizing how much of your energy was wasted trying to decode mixed signals. You start noticing how one-sided the connection truly was. You see how often you compromise your peace just to maintain her attention. And the more you reflect, the more you wonder how you ever tolerated it for so long. That's not bitterness, that's awakening. Distance reveals priorities. While she's busy trying to regain control, you're busy rebuilding yourself. While she's overthinking what you're doing, you're focusing on what you're becoming. That's the beauty of masculine energy. It grows in solitude, the same silence that heals you, because you're no longer trying to be understood, you're learning to understand yourself. When you distance yourself, you stop begging for reciprocity and start creating boundaries. You realize that love without respect is just attachment. You stop settling for temporary validation and start demanding consistency. And ironically, that's when women start chasing you, because emotional independence is magnetic. The man who doesn't need her becomes the man she wants most. She'll eventually reach out again, not because she's changed, but because she wants to feel that old power again. She'll test your boundaries, pretend she misses you, or say she just wanted to check in. But the real test isn't her message, it's your reaction. If you respond with emotion, the cycle restarts. But if you respond with composure, the cycle ends, because detachment isn't about ignoring her, it's about no longer being controlled by her. You'll notice her tone shift when you stay calm, her confidence fades, her voice softens. She's no longer talking to the version of you that chased. She's talking to the man who learned. That difference intimidates her, because once a man has seen through emotional manipulation, he can never unsee it. You've crossed into a new kind of strength, quiet, steady, impossible to shake. The longer you stay distant, the more you realize how much peace costs and how little chaos was worth. You start valuing silence over arguments, solitude over attention, purpose over validation. You see that the greatest revenge isn't making her miss you, it's becoming so centered that she could never disturb your peace again. That's when you stop hoping she'll return, because you finally understand. You don't want her back, you just wanted yourself back. When you finally distance yourself, she starts learning lessons she never thought she would. She learns that attention doesn't equal importance, that beauty doesn't guarantee effort, that a man's patience is not infinite. She realizes that the love she took for granted was rare, not because it was perfect, but because it was pure. And that purity is what haunts her. Because once a man like you walks away, every other connection feels shallow. You'll feel the shift too. At first, it'll hurt. You'll miss her. You'll question if you did the right thing. But over time, the craving fades and clarity takes its place. You'll realize that the version of her you were attached to only existed in your imagination. You were in love with potential, not reality. And when that truth finally settles, peace replaces longing. That's when distance becomes your teacher, not your punishment. She'll always remember the day you went silent, not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't. That silence will echo in her mind for years. Because words can be debated, silence cannot. It's absolute. It forces reflection. It makes her realize that love doesn't die in shouting matches. It dies in indifference, and the moment you became indifferent, she lost the one thing she valued most, your emotional availability. When you finally distance yourself, she learns what you learned long ago, that connection without respect is a slow death, that you can't build something real with someone who confuses effort with obsession. That love isn't about who holds on the longest, it's about who grows the most. And while she's still looking backward, you'll already be moving forward, because once peace enters a man's life, everything chaotic begins to fall away naturally. Eventually, she'll stop fighting the distance and start feeling the void. That's when the guilt sets in. She'll realize she created the very silence that now drives her insane. She'll replay every moment she dismissed you, every message she ignored, every time she made you feel small. And though she'll never admit it, she'll know deep down, you didn't abandon her. You outgrew her. And that hurts far more than being replaced. So remember this, brother, distance is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's choosing yourself. After years of being chosen last, it's realizing that love without peace isn't love. It's dependency. When you finally distance yourself, you don't lose her. You lose the version of yourself that needed her to feel whole. And that's when everything changes. Because once a man tastes peace after chaos, he never hungers for chaos again. He becomes the storm and the calm, untouchable, unbothered, and finally,